of the High Council. Okato flexes his basic knowledge of fire magic, and our secret meeting with the strongest power in Tamriel begins. We are a close and trusted friend of the Emperor. We know little more than that, but we do know that he believes we are the person for the job. He has a concerning matter in one of the more unworthy parts of the Empire, the Iliac Bay. The Coulson High Rock, Northern Hammerfell, and Rockwood Mountains has found itself with a dilemma. One of its largest cities, Daggerfall, the capital city of the mighty city, is no longer watered by none other than its previous ruler, King Lysander, who, with his spectral arm, terrorizes his citizens at night, screaming for revenge. Daggerfall was a close and trusted ally to the Empire. It's important to remember that at this time, Septum's control of the Empire was at its strongest. He had recently saved the Oblivion prison that Jadar Farm had sent him to in Arena. And when he was saved by the Eternal Champion, he returned to a fractured, unhappy, and weakened state of affairs due to Farm's incompetence as a leader. So when Septum's strongest ally in High Rock is killed in battle, it's a big deal. Septum wants us to investigate this haunting, find why the king has tormented his city, and bring it to an end. And when he was saved by the Eternal Champion, he returned to a fractured, unhappy, and weakened state of affairs due to Farm's incompetence as a leader. So when Septum's strongest ally in High Rock is killed in battle, it's a big deal. Septum wants us to investigate this haunting, find why the king has tormented his city, and bring it to an end. There is also the small and seemingly unimportant matter of a letter sent by the Emperor to the Queen of Daggerfall. Euro claims that this letter was of a sentimental value, and that if we are to come across it, we should destroy it. We don't know this yet, but this is the real reason the Emperor has sent us. We aren't given any more information regarding this letter, but given the Emperor's concerns in the meeting, one imagines imagery of perhaps some sort of high-class affair among nobles. But the truth is far more dangerous. While it isn't clear at the beginning of the game, the Emperor has been deliberately lying to the agent, not only in why we are performing the task set before us, but also our importance concerning the safety of the Empire itself. Of course, knowing Uriel's recent history, it makes sense why he would be so cautious. He was just betrayed by Jaggerfall recent years ago, a subject he previously believed to be loyal, so even in telling the agent how can he trust them, he doesn't really.
Oh gosh, this establishment is just like, why are there no? So these individuals are the workers.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Are they working too? They're just taking breaks or something? Oh, I thought she was barefoot outside.
Hi there.
Oh.
Anyone looking for work should consider the Fighters Guild. I hear they're always looking for recruits. I've heard others say the same. Do you ever buy ingredients from the main ingredient? Can't say I've spent much time there. I hear it's nice though. So I've heard. Take care. Hi.
Oh, that the font was broken. Oh, you can see tearing right there, but it's fine. I said, but it's fine.
Meeting concluded, the agent set sail from the Imperial City, heading for Daggerfall, where they are struck by the storm off the coast and find themselves trapped in a dungeon to the north of the kingdom. First things first, there is no A to B with one quest after another. Instead, we are left to our own devices for a large part of the game.
Well,
They've been entrusted to
I'm
design
only
the quest
asking for a
themselves.
single
But we have made some aspects of the story confusing when trying to work out what is a randomly generated quest and what is a main quest that we should actually try to digest and remember. This is one of my main critiques.
The best defense. That's me, Marl Rufus, light armor.
Just
very
as
best.
it implies that some of these quests are linked, and while they may be from a storytelling standpoint, a lot of them are
Let's
still
do
twisted
business.
around the world and can be easily missed without the help of a guide. This is where the in-game player journal could have been far better and was made so
You've made a good bit of gold.
In Daggerfall, however, it doesn't do a good enough job of logging the important story beats that have happened, which made my first playthrough of the story quite anticlimactic as I found myself near the end with little memory of what had led me there. I knew I had completed a lot of important quests, but trying to tie them up into an understandable narrative in my head was quite difficult. It's far too easy to play a mission out of sequence, leaving you confused on what had just happened, or what it was about. You can even miss some of the
Tell your
other
friends.
quests which contain vital lore information that make your later decisions far more impactful. This is where the technological limitations of this 25-year-old game become an issue once more. There are a lot of NPCs to talk to,
Venecia
and
Melisea, Office of Imperial
they
Commerce.
simply are
You
not
got
as
complaints?
valuable as they
Of course you got
could be.
complaints. Who doesn't?
Become an issue once more. There are a lot of NPCs to talk to, and
You have complaints against merchants here.
they simply are
You
not
file
as
complaints with
valuable as they
me.
could have been.
I fill out lots of forms which go to a lot of people who ignore them. What else did you expect? Justice? Go to the chapel. Talk to Zenithar. He'll take care of everything. I mean, of course. All I have available right now is a hovel on the waterfront.
That help us form any memorable connection to these characters. There is also a lot to learn about. For some, this sense of discovery is
I
like
agree,
a breath of fresh
but someone will be
air.
foolish enough to buy
As we
it.
delve into the libraries and learn all about the world
Why?
and its history,
I mean, of course.
it can be overwhelming. There are
Really?
multiple countries.
Then you've just become a homeowner.
To remember.
Here is your house key.
It doesn't help
You'll find it in the
that
waterfront
all
district.
issues
It's not much to look
all
at.
this is a continual
You may
trend.
want to spruce it up a bit with some furnishings. I'd suggest talking to Sergius Verus at Three Brothers Trade Goods in the Market District.
You don't have to read a book in Norwens to understand that racism is a
BC.
prevalent theme, for example. There is also the issue of the
Awesome, yeah, you finally got my house.
Yes.
multiple goals given to the player. It may only be two at first, Lysandus and the letter, but the depth of these issues soon grows as the story
have my
progresses. And without visual guides such as this, some quests can be confusing in relation to your current goal. You may think you are making a breakthrough in discovering the plot of Lysandus' death, only to find yourself doing a mission regarding the letter, although this may be more due to my own faults regarding reading comprehension. This is where playing the game as an old-school tabletop RPG becomes important. On my second playthrough, I instead used the aid of a guide alongside my own real-world notebook, writing about my discoveries, what I had noticed in the logbooks, how I had discovered that two of the same book exist both with entirely different accounts of the same event, how certain characters interact with each other, one even lying to our face about the motivations of another. This is where I first saw the brilliance of Daggerfall's writing. Now, could it be told better? 100%, but the technology was for sure a limiting factor here, as well as time constraints. As I researched more into the role, using the official strategy guide, the Daggerfall Chronicles, and online resources, it becomes clear that there is quite a bit of cut content regarding the story, which means that on paper, the lore sounds amazing, but in game, it can feel a little underwhelming at times. Quests also adhere closely to the structures I've gone over earlier in this series, so if you aren't a fan of the style of questing that Daggerfall offers, the main quest itself, outside of the story it tells, won't be very exciting. But if, like me, you love a bit of political intrigue and good old 90s dungeon crawling, then this is the place for you, especially with handcrafted story dungeons, which feel far more real and interesting than their randomly generated brothers. Before we get to the main quest, it's important to first set the stage for the current political climate that we are stepping into. The recent calamity all began with Bethany Island, a small piece of land situated to the southwest of the Kingdom of Daggerfall. To the south, along the northern coast of Hammerfell and the Alakia Desert, lies the Kingdom of Sentinel, who, for a centuries-old contract, claim the island to be a part of their great kingdom. Bethany Island's importance comes in its strategic position at the mouth of the bay. Whoever controls Bethany controls the flow of trade, similar to our world's true water and its historical importance to the Mediterranean Sea. The ruler of Bethany is having issues with pirates, looking for aid in stopping these thieves. The local lord asks Daggerfall for help, as Daggerfall maintains one of the strongest fleets in the bay. A deal is made, and Bethany becomes a protector of Daggerfall. This angers Sentinel, who feel that Daggerfall have illegally taken control of their sovereign territory through politics. Relations worsened between the two mighty nations, and before long, war breaks out, with King Lysandus of Daggerfall and King Cameron of Sentinel leading their respective armies. To the east lies Waymest, ruled by both the ancient King Edwir and his dark elf wife, the infamous Queen Aranzaya, whose biography still crops up in every Elder Scrolls game after this. Waymest has no direct interest in Bethany Island, but as one of the three most powerful kingdoms in the Iliad Bay, is still of some importance to them. It's not just something they can completely ignore. As the book...
This must be either a conflict with the improved floral trails of... Yeah, this looks like this was added. I don't think either part of better series, so who knows, too many mods, but I'm fine with this glitch right there. Pretend that this on purpose, and there's like a little hole right here so it could grow. Only bad part is that this part, they should probably cut it. Whoop. They being the government, but obviously it's a glitch. But yeah, so for me it's fine.
Progresses, Daggerfall has several victories over Sentinel, and with the war seemingly coming to a close, peace talks are brought to the table. This meeting would be called at Reich Grad Keep, a town and fortress within the neutral territory of Anticlair. Here is where the account fluctuates depending on the propaganda you read. From Daggerfall's point of view, King Cameron was civil enough when he signed a peace treaty, until he saw that the treaty called for equal ownership of Bethany. This threw him into a fit of rage, where he called for his men to cause a riot in the fortress and then into the town, creating a mass of bloodshed and slaughter. Sentinel's account instead claims that the Mad King, Lysandus, was initially very grateful in how much land he was offering the Sentinel in terms they had agreed upon. But upon reading the treaty presented to him, King Cameron noticed that the treaty had been deceptively rewritten by Lysandus' scribe to exclude the land transfers. Angered by this betrayal, both sides then erupted into battle and retreated after mass casualties. Whichever was true, we do.
Because Daggerfall, I keep clicking.
Not know. Lysandus' army pursued a retreating Cameron to the south of Anticlair, and both sides made camp, waited for reinforcements, and planned strategies for the upcoming battle. The final.
Are you kidding? A chest is not part of the... I thought I had enough.
No conflict was set in stone. The Battle of Cringane Field was ready to take place. This battle in the valley was actually rendered here in the game's press release trailer. After a long fight, Daggerfall claimed victory, but by all accounts, both kings, Cameron and Lysandus, lay dead. Lysandus' son, the now King Gothrid, was crowned hastily behind the front lines following his father's death, where he then led his army to victory against the mountain Red Guards. Cameron's throne would fall to his widow, Queen Akarifi. Gothrid would marry their daughter, Princess Amrita, as a peace
Nothing I'd like to
between
talk
two
about.
nations. Although Sentinel's account of the war claims that this was instead a spoiler of war taken forcibly. These two opposite accounts, full of propaganda, aren't important to how the player interacts with the story, but it does set the scene of the high tensions between these two powers, and also sets the precedent of the unreliable narrator, something that the Elder Scrolls continues to.
I have a feeling that quest marker is not correct on my map.
How are you?
How do you do?
Evening. Good to see you. Hello there. Citizen?
Greetings.
You know what? I bet it's not right because since they have its own little map section, that's why it's so off key. Off key as an outlaw.
Greetings to you.
At least the quest marker still works in this regard.
How can I help you? Hi there.
Evening.
Greet.
What?
The Black Horse Courier is run by three Khajiit brothers. They buy freelance stories with an imperial stipend and give the papers away for free. If I had a question about heavy armor, I'd probably ask Varnado at the best defense.
The king's adopted stepson, Prince Helseth, first son.
So what's this about?
Leave me alone.
How's business?
Are things going well?
Characters within the series.
Go ahead, please.
How is fought than just these three kingdoms, however? To the northeast of Wayres lies Orsinium, the now unrecognized homeland of the angry and betrayed people of the Orisman, known colloquially as Orcs. They've had a rough time during the
Goodbye.
having lost sovereignty of their homeland and being forced to turn the banditry and other forms of crime just to survive.
No.
Their leader,
The
the
Fighters Guild is
self-proclaimed king of
recruiting
the
again.
Orcs, Gortnag, seeks
What?
revenge against Wayres and the other powers of the Iliac Bay.
Goodbye.
Look at the carve
I've
out
heard
and
that.
back the cold home, and press forward a claim of equal standard and recognition among the other races of Tamriel. Equally as powerful as the Three Kingdoms, with no land to his name, is the King of Worms, Manamarco, the powerful lich necromancer, who now controls the underworld behind the scenes since his defeat in the Second Era during the timeline of the Elder Scrolls Online. The final power within the name is the Underking, another lich-like being who has been a thorn in Manamarco's side. He is also trying to control the nations from behind the scenes, although with entirely different motives. Okay, so we understand the recent war, but we still have no idea why Lysandus is haunting his capital city with vengeance. Let's go back to the beginning, after we are stranded in a cave by a freak storm. This is where the game itself starts. I've talked about Privateer's Hall previously, so we'll skip ahead to our first contact in regards to the main quest, where we receive a letter from one lady, Lucenna, asking us to meet her in a random town. While our character is called the Agent, there is no indication that we are linked to the Blades, the Emperor's private bodyguards and spy network, but we do have contact with them through Lady Lucenna, who is the Emperor's main Blades contact for the region. She's been busy during her time here, successfully moving from noble cause and now landed herself as the assistant to the Queen of Daggerfall, a very advantageous position for a spy to hold. During the meeting, she brings you up to date on the current events and asks you to go talk to the key powers of the region, Daggerfall, Wayrest, and Sentinel, to go get some first-hand accounts on what they believe is happening in regards to Lysandus. When asked, she does not know much of the missing letter, but says that our best bet will be to start by asking the recipient herself. The previous
What do you-
of Daggerfall, Queen
Have a look
Sarah,
around.
to whom the
You
Emperor
won't find
has
better
so
prices in
much
all
addressed the
Tamriel.
letter. So what happens if you go to those courts and ask around? Nothing. Why? Because you are too low level and unknown. Asking any noble for help will often result in a retort alluding to the player not being ready yet, or an offering of a randomly generated quest unrelated to the story. While these quests are a great way to earn gold and level you up, you can see how for a new player who isn't using a guide, it can be easy to be confused about what quests are related to the story or not. The first quest regarding the story that you will receive will be at level 3 for one Princess Morgaya of Wayrest, the daughter of Queen Baranzaya, but her quest is related to the letter and not to Lysandus' plot, so we'll pick back up with her later. At level 4, Prince Helseth, Morgaya's brother and prospective future king of Wayrest, will be able to offer the player a quest. Helseth requires a courier to deliver a letter of utmost importance to a Wayrestian noble, known as Lord Castellion. Castellion holds a high standing among the Wayrest royal court and will be a key member in who decides King Ebria's successor come the day he passes. Prince Helseth does what any wannabe king with a weak claim does and attempts to blackmail the Lord with a letter. Be warned that reading the letter will lower your reputation with the Wayrestian nobles. If you want, you can even deliver the letter to the prince's stepfather for some positive reputation gains, but this will fail the quest, so it's not what we will be doing. After delivering the blackmail, Lord Castellion will begin sending knights and battle mages our way in an attempt to thwart our return journey. You will have to get used to this. It is very common for the nobles to try and kill the player when we learn too much. Luckily, they stop their murder attempts once you finish the quest, so it is your top priority to return to Helseth, else you will be endlessly hunted. We return to the Dark Elven Crypt for our reward, where we learn that Wayrest was more involved with the war than the reports let on. Some advisors were sent by the Wayrest royal courts to try and convince the warring kings of Daggerfall and Sentinel to settle their differences. These advisors claim that they never made it, as they were ambushed by Gortwog and a band of orcs. But Helseth has heard rumours that some of them did indeed complete the journey, and even had words with Lysandus on the eve of the Battle of Crungame Field. And that's all we get. This is a story of investigation and intrigue. We only get breadcrumbs of information at each stage. Hence why maintaining the journal is so important to understanding what the hell is going on. Asking around Castle Daggerfall at level 3 will start another quest. Now this quest line is technically optional, but the lore that we learn from it is important in fully understanding the plot. Queen Abakai, formerly Princess of Sentinel, is concerned for the well-being of her grandmother-in-law, who has been missing since the War of Bethany, where she left the royal courts to retreat to her castle following a disagreement with her son, King Lysandus. Abakai instructs us to visit this castle, the fortress known as Shadungeon. The grandmother in question, Nilfgaard, was a powerful sorceress, and her castle is not to be trifled with. You will come across what is likely to be the most dangerous enemies you have encountered yet. This can all be bypassed, however, as long as you have enough magical prowess to cast an open spell on the locked door that faces you near the entrance. Or if you know the password you need to type when activating this banner, but you won't learn that until later. Either way, you'll finally reach the throne room where Nilfgaard, covered in torn and dirty robes, can be found rambling incoherently. It is clear the former queen is insane, but there is nothing else we can do. By the way, the password for the lich who guards the exit door is shut up. I'm not joking. There is something always amusing about these classic typed answers a lot of DOS games used, a clear reference and holdover from the classic text-based adventure games like Zork. The agent can now return to Queen Abakai with this information. She'll thank you for performing the task, and she rewards us with a leveled magical item. Again, notice that we seemingly did not progress the plot a whole lot at first glance, but all will make more sense as we play on. A week or two later, Abakai will send a letter to the agent asking for our assistance. When we report to the Queen, she confides that she wants us to go do some snooping on her mother-in-law's affairs. Abakai has noticed that the widowed Queen Minasera is paying for the upkeep of Castle Necromocan. Recently, the Dowager Queen left
I know that's cheating, but honestly, I didn't come all that way just for nothing. And I'm doing it vanilla in my 360, so yeah.
What? May I interest you in some of my fine wares? I let that go too cheaply. Thank you.
Forgot to haggle.
Tertullian, Sergius, and have a look around. Drive a hard bargain.
You know what? I've never seen the house fully furnished.
A pleasure to serve you. Let's do business. But pleasure doing business with you. Another's.
I'll refrain from doing things like that.
So we did as well. Like buying that Telvanni slave, dressing her up to convince the Ashcan.
Hello.
After resolving Chris Lawton's mystery, he tells us what we need
Good
to know
morning.
regarding by Sanders' affair. The Madonna we have heard about is no other
Yes.
than Madonna de Reni, a
What's the
high-end
latest?
sorcerer and current
There's a
patron
new
of
ship
the
moving
Reni
up in the
clan,
water.
who
Any
lives
word
within
about
the
the
Reni
other
towns.
provinces?
You have
Each
my
had a
views.
magical
Nothing
structure
like to talk.
found
Something I
on
can
the
do
island
for
of
you.
Valfiera. It is believed to have been built by Adrian and Sans during its creation.
Talk is free. What do
Our
you
new
want?
goal is clear. We have to find and interrogate Madonna de Reni. The agent travels in haste to the Goliath de Reni Tower legend, and yeah. Look, the lore regarding this place wasn't quite as extravagant as it would become
hello.
later on, so let's just
Morning.
ignore the anticlimactic reveal of its current architecture. The Reni Tower as a dungeon is pretty darn good on your first way through. It offers some decent challenge, which acts as a way to ensure you aren't progressing too far into the story early on, as you will get yourself decimated by the number of undead found here, especially the Lich that lives outside Madonna's chamber. My god,
Go
this
ahead.
guy can go sucking dick, honestly. These obstacles can be frustrating if you're trying to rush the story too fast, But after some
How do you do?
leveling in guilds and whatnot, you shouldn't have too much of an issue here, especially if you've got some powerful enchanted artifacts with you. A bit of advice though, if the main quest is your only priority on your current playthrough, leave that spell here, because for the majority of Lysandus' plotline, Medora Dereni is going to be a common quest giver, and unfortunately, you'll find yourself having to go through this castle again and again, including that lich. This ends up turning a good dungeon into a huge headache. Medora tells us that she can indeed help us when it comes to her dead lover. But first, we have to do a favor for her. Again, the pattern is clear
What is
by
it,
now.
citizen?
We aren't going to get any information from anyone without rubbing their back first. This style of quest giving isn't unheard of in RPGs, but it does get a bit tired after a while, and that is no different here. Medora needs us to go get an ingredient for her that she hopes she can use to lift the curse placed upon her. This curse, explained by Dereni Tower, is in the state that it is, what with its rampant undead infestation. As we have learned from those burned letters, Minnesota was aware of her late husband's affair, and in her anger, she cast a spell on Medora as a punishment for her betrayal, locking her within this ancestral home. By the way, what is it with Lysandus and sorceresses? It seems every woman in his life was a mage of some kind. But I guess that brains for the day.
Please,
Back
I
to that
must
ingredient
see.
from Medora, and she knows exactly where to get
What
it.
is it?
That should make the quest easier, right?
Well,
She
then.
tells
So
us
I-
that Morfarga
Good news
is the
from
one who
Commander.
knows where it is. And Medora suspects that she may not be in good health following her son's death. It's this writing and technological limitation that especially feels awkward. You already know that Morfarga is insane, but there is no way of telling Medora
How
this
do you do?
information. Although one could argue that a line like this is necessary, as the quest for Queen at
What
the
is
time
it
in which we
now?
learned that information was optional. These branching paths make the story much more replayable, but man, they don't make writing much.
Dang. Always seems to be
Well,
something.
Speak. Well met. Brendan, trespassing in the Imperial Palace. Is a serious crime. Do not venture beyond the... Go ahead, please. Bye.
What is it?
Well met. Remember, trespassing in the Imperial Palace is...
Hello. Help! Mother! Good afternoon.
The copy of the Black Horse Courier.
What is it now?
Speed.
Well met.
You're looking for trouble. You're getting very
Pardon,
close.
citizen.
They were taken by surprise. I'm sure the Legion has everything under control.
Good day.
Good afternoon. What is it?
That's just embarrassing. Hopefully it works now.
What is it, citizen?
Yeah, words.
Do you know Morrow Rufus? He specializes in living armor at best defense.
I haven't spent much time there, but if you're looking for light armor, best defense is the place to go.
Heard any news from the other provinces?
Someone is in
best defense.
You train my son to use heavy armor if you can pay for his time.
Good day.
You too.
Just buy a slightly used shield.
What is it now?
Shot your three brothers a couple of days ago.
You have my nest. I take it you...
Want something? Well, what is it?
Good. Goodbye. Good to see you.
Buy ingredients from the main ingredient.
Can't say I spent much time there. I hear it's nice, though.
Take care.
Afternoon.
Good to see you. Good afternoon.
Read any good books lately?
I've been reading. Fundaments of alchemy.
How are you?
I figure it can't hurt to learn something new.
Next.
That's too bad.
They say that when you murder...
How are you? An excellent reader.
Okay.
Though it's been a while since I've read it myself. Let me know how you like it.
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep.
How are you? How are you? Excellent.
Okay.
Though it's been a while since I've read it myself. Let me know how you like it.
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood... comes to you in your sleep. It's how they recruit you.
How can I help you? I've heard others say the same.
Hello, dear.
Has a good selection of ingredients and the name.
Hello. Greetings, Impy.
How are you? An excellent reader.
Okay.
Though it's been a while since I've read it myself. Let me know how you like it.
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep.
Greetings.
It's how they recruit.
How are you? An excellent reader.
Okay.
Though it's been a while since I've read it myself. Let me know how you like it.
They say that when you murder...
This is the keys.
How are you? An excellent
Okay.
Yeah!
I've been better.
That's two.
I'm pushing left out and right click, not right out. Oh great. It froze.
Bad.
Oh thank
They
goodness.
say
How are you? An excellent.
Okay.
It worked.
Though it's been a while since I've read it myself.
That's
Let me
too
know how
bad.
you like it.
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep.
Anytime
So,
now.
It's how they
first of all, that mod's instructions
If
freaking
you
sucked.
want to learn about heavy
Out.
armor,
It said
Varnado.
out.
Can I? I help you?
So again, it's left out
You have
and then
my
right
interest.
click. Alright, so that took longer than I thought, but at least I have a tool now to supposedly figure out those kinds of issues. Actually,
How
I'll
goes
do
it?
this now. Oh, that's not good. Now the stupid map is not working again. Oh, that I'm fine with this. It's not. Oh damn. As long as everything else works, the map the way that it does, I'm fine with that. The map's pretty good screwed up anyways. It's not the line. Okay, cool. Oh my god, what the fuck? Okay, after all of that, I think we're good to go now. Oh, now he's not even here. Well, maybe that's like I said character we go.
He can teach you how to steal
I'm not even gonna let you sneak into the ground. Frankly, if it's just the character that's missing, but everything else is still here, I'm fine with that completely.
Hey,
What is it now?
Awesome. So okay.
speak.
Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. You just missed. I had to fix a mod fiasco though. Well, you could see it here. I had to figure out what was up with that. Thankfully though, I ended up downloading something called 4mod. I'll leave that. But I'll still explain in case 4mod, and that was a fiasco too. So. Kind of excited. If this works, this means I could put back Clock to Cerudo again. Because I think I know what the issue was with that. Actually, I feel like if I really wanted to, I might be able to do the full better series completely, like the full mod. Nice, okay, so this is still fun.
You have my ears.
Greetings to you.
It wasn't working.
Good evening.
I think I
Have you seen a lamp?
Well, thanks for joining. I do appreciate it. I'm gonna take a quick break right here. I'm gonna see if my little idea works for the clock thing, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Thanks for joining. I do appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
But